What's up guys, in today's video we're gonna be unboxing the AQUAMIST HSF3 Water Med Kit that comes with the independent circuit board to control it. I've had this kit for a couple months now and I still haven't opened it. I like to work with steps, and since the build is coming to an end, I guess, and I'm almost done building the engine, it's time to open it and start planning how to install it. Before we start, if you are interested in me doing a video or a tutorial, maybe a couple episodes on how to install it in the car, I could do so. Obviously it is not it's kind of a universal kit, but I'll be installing it on my car, and then I'll do some stuff with the failsafe for it to be more specific to my car. So those steps would not apply to all of the cars, but I'll show you how it can be. So without further ado, let's get started. First of all, we got this bad boy here. It's a big pump. One thing with these pumps, whether it's AEM, Snow Performance, AQUAMIST, whatever it is, it's very important that you isolate it from vibrations. Obviously in a car, usually in a sports car, you don't put this in your daily. If you put this in your sports car, you have probably stiffer springs or coilovers, so you have added vibrations. One thing that most people do is to mount it in between the bumper and the front crash bar, close to the windshield washer reservoir, so they can reuse that reservoir. It is something that you can do, but if you do so, it's very important that you isolate it from the vibrations. It's recommended to be installed on the inside, which I personally was tempted to do, and still, even though it's a risk, I'm gonna most probably install it on the outside, like I said, in between the bumpers, so I can reuse the OEM factory windshield washer reservoir and actually use the level sensor OEM and have a message in my dashboard, like in the speedometer, and then I'll be able to actually see whenever the level's low without having to depend on the actual AQUAMIST system. That way I would have two ways of making sure one isn't faulty, so that's a plus. Another thing you can do is actually get the AQUAMIST reservoir, which I personally think costs way too much compared to other kits. So you can go with other kits obviously, but you'll have to make sure that the level sensor works with the independent board on that one. If not, you'll have some wiring to do. So I don't want the headache. I'm gonna keep it as OEM as possible. So they do give you some here. If you check, there's rubber bushings for the mounting, so you can isolate the pump from vibrations. So I'll have this. What I'll personally do whenever I tighten it, I'll probably put some backing here with some silicone, so to add and give it even more isolation from the vibration. I'll do that. Now let's get started with the whole kit. So we're finished with the pump. It's pretty straightforward. They even show you here, I don't know if it's gonna focus, you can see the arrow. So it comes from here, so the reservoir, and then it goes out here to the engine. So in my case, from AQUAMIST, like without having any special orders, the biggest jet you can get is a 1.2 millimeter. I personally am using two 1 millimeter jets, and I got the 1.2 additionally just in case I want to tweak something. And I also got it with a blue LED display to match the OEM factory dashboard. So you got some stuff here about water alcohol, contamination, what type of alcohol to use, and then about the pump warranty here on this side. and it talks about the vibration, putting it on the inside and isolating from water, which I will also have to find another solution and make sure water doesn't get onto the pump, so it doesn't I guess rust it, seize it, whatever it is. So we get some universal instructions. I'll go through them on my own. If there's anything that's relevant or important for you guys to see, I'll show you. There's a couple schematics, there's a couple specific stuff about the jets, how to roughly calculate what jet size you need. So the most important part would be this here, the actual gauge. You can see how beautiful it is. The quality is really good on this kit. So you got the flow here, you got the water injection, the water level whenever it lights up here, the second one, it tells you whenever it's low, and you can fine tune also here. It's very hard to show on the camera. So you can put a really small flathead screwdriver and fine tune each of these, which we're gonna have to do whenever we install the kit. So one error that people do is they're gonna install the whole kit, they're gonna install the jets and the pipes and the manifold, wherever you're gonna put it, and then they're gonna start fine-tuning this, but they're gonna realize that they can't do so because they're not seeing the flow. So most important thing is installing everything properly, but do not install the jets inside of the piping, manifold, throttle body, wherever you're gonna put it. You need to leave it outside of the car. And to test it, since it's gonna spray all over the place, use distilled water and not methanol, so it doesn't get onto your paint or hot parts or whatever. It's super flammable, very dangerous if you don't take care of it. So in here I got different jet sizes, and I also have this T here, since I'm gonna have 2 jets installed with one line, so it's a T split. Here with instructions, it says green harness for direct injection and peak and hold injection systems. So this right here is the brains of the whole thing. So this right here, it controls everything. So it's a mini circuit board. It's fully independent. You can even add fail-safe with OEM or aftermarket ECUs as well. So depending on what I'm gonna be doing, if I'm gonna run the car on the OEM ECU setup for a bit before putting the aftermarket one, I'm gonna have to figure out how to wire it. I do have the wiring diagram for it, but just like how to physically wire it, I'll probably put the diagram right now up the screen. Got some goodies here, some wires, again different connections. We got the relay kit as well here. Yeah, so 3 relays. Another kit here, I'm pretty sure it's for the flow, that one. Another relay, there's a couple stuff. That's the level sensor here. Very fragile whenever you're handling it. Even tells you how to put it into the reservoir kit. So it tells you what size needs to be up. There you go. So you see what part needs to be moving, how it should be perpendicular and parallel to the car floor. So that's something to keep in mind. I personally gonna tap a second hole into the OEM reservoir and make sure that there's enough clearance, so that part here, whenever it's gonna be opening, which is that way, opening this way, it doesn't interfere with anything else. And most importantly, making sure that, well, since here there's already a rubber grommet, I'm still gonna make sure it's perfectly sealed, but not in a permanent way. That way, if for some reason this one breaks, I need to change something, or if it leaks, then I won't have to buy something new, I just have to repair it. So that's pump adapters. Yep. So these, if I'm not mistaken, they go over here, and then the other side is for the white tubing for the methanol. So either the reservoir or directly to the engine. Get some hardware over here. Another relay. What is this? Fittings and fasteners. Yeah, I think it's some extra stuff. Oh, I think that one is for the flow. I'll make sure. I'll confirm with you guys. This here is a filter for the pickup, if I'm not mistaken. So tank adapter, fitter, yep, exactly. Or a small fitting. Some other cables with only one connector. That way, I'm probably sure like that's for custom stuff. Original AQUAMIST gauge cable. Do not use. Permanent system damage will occur. Gotcha. And some other wires and more tubing. So I'm gonna take my time, read the instructions, and show you guys what's important.